Welcome back to The Line. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities released a report this week that found New Mexico has the highest percentage of children under the age of 4 in the country who are participating in the SNAP program. The food stamp program in New Mexico has been under scrutiny this year after a group of current and former state workers testified in federal court that they were instructed to falsify applications to keep people from qualifying for emergency assistance. And Marcia, folks who pay attention to the New Mexico news and politics already know that a high number of families in our state are using SNAP. And we juxtapose that against this idea that this department has been so understaffed, putting this thing together. How do we solve this? Is this the thing that's going to turn the corner for us? Because these numbers are gruesome. There's no other way to say it. Is this the thing to turn the corner for us?
The numbers are gruesome, and it's another example again of New Mexico being at the bottom of the list or being at the top of the worst list.
Right.
Right. But this isn't the first time that programs from this department are in the media spotlight.
That's right.
I mean, just a few months ago, we were at this very table talking about the Cabinet Secretary of Human Services Department because this very program was being scrutinized and being investigated because management level was not giving people emergency assistance when they were applying for SNAP emergency assistance. So there were children involved in that. There was elderly, there's New Mexican adults. But this does show that this is definitely one of the fastest ways to get food to people that are in desperate need, right?
That's right.
But we have to ensure that the program is being administered in the proper way, that people that need the assistance get the assistance.
Right.
So if that means that they need to hire more people, then they need to hire more people, right? We just left a special session around the budget where our governor was solely focusing on crime bills when they should have been focusing on things like this, right? Just yesterday, just 2 days ago, she line item vetoed to a portion of the budget that was calling for something that would have assisted children having at-home visitation. And now that was supported by both chambers completely. There was not one person that voted against it. So it just goes to show that we've got a governor and her administration that is completely out of touch with New Mexicans. And this just goes to show the dire need that New Mexicans have. This isn't something to defend in any way. This isn't something to be proud of in any way. It needs to be addressed and it needs to be fixed.
Daniel, Marcia makes a couple of interesting points there, one of which is I didn't hear any language about protecting this department or furthering the help for this department during that short budget session we just had in the special, nor any drumbeat to protect them for the upcoming legislative session. Have these folks fallen under the same hammer as everybody else?
I think they have. I mean, when you're in the financial crisis we're in, it's,
right.
In the Marine Corps, they used to teach us start the breathing, stop the bleeding, protect the wound, and treat for shock.
Right.
It's hard to treat for shock when you're not breathing.
Right.
And, one of the things that needs to be pointed out is the problem with this department has been going on for 20 years. I mean, to try to lay this to Governor Martinez's feet is really inaccurate. It's been an existing problem. What's more of a glaring deal is that this high number of folks in this state that are addressing this, and when you hear the difference, in my opinion, during the special session, from liberals and conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, the answer, yes, there's got to be a way to address fixing these problems, right? We got to figure out how to get people the food they need and make sure that they're eating. But there's always a lack of plan on it. Why aren't we just as embarrassed that 50% of our population is on this government food assistance program?
Right.
We've got to figure out a way to get these people off these programs, get them meaningful employment, and get them the ability to not be dependent on this stuff. And, I think it's a shame that this is all rising at a time that we're in a horrible fiscal state in New Mexico.
That's right.
I don't know what they're going to do to fix it. I mean, I don't think they fixed it. I think they've kicked the can down the road, and it's going to be a bigger problem later.
Laura, 46% of our kids under 4. 46%. Daniel, called it 50. It might as well be. That's an amazing number when you think about it, and it's not much less than that for kids under 17 when you take the whole, scope of that. So I ask again, can this department get some special treatment from this legislature that says we need to solve this, and it's going to take some resources to do it?
Well, thankfully there are groups out there like New Mexico Voices for Children and others that advocate for this issue. But I think that there's also tremendous challenges coming up into this legislative session. We're facing major budget shortfalls. I mean, 46% here in New Mexico, you compare it to the next closest states, which was Georgia at 45%, Mississippi at 43%, DC at 44%. Right. So we have, all these other states that have very different demographics, in many cases, very urban areas, and we're facing some serious problems, and problems that we've had for generations. I mean, I was on the food stamp program when I was little, and thank God, I don't know where I'd be otherwise, but something has to change. And unfortunately, I don't think that we have enough commitment at the top levels from the leadership to make something, to make a difference here. And certainly cutting that program or cutting any kind of staffing for that is not the right way to go if we're going to address this problem.
Mm-hmm. The department is basically on notice, Janice. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if it's
absolutely.
under the radar at this point. It's all out there now.
Yes.
So this would seem like the perfect opportunity, it would seem to me. Now we have everyone's ear, everyone's hearts, basically, and say, okay, maybe 10% more, 5% more for the department, something. How would that fly in the next session? What do you think about that?
Well, so it's easy to go into a special session and cut across the board.
Right.
That is the easy answer. We need a legislature and an executive that is going to make the hard choices. And when you make those choices, you are going to make somebody mad. But at some point, you have to set some priorities. And to do that, and one of those priorities needs to be if you are providing a service and there are people, there are children, and we haven't even talked about the seniors on food stamps,
point.
that are counting on you, then there has to be adequate staff.
That's right.
And the fact that we are running so thin, I look at this department, then I look at tax and revenue, and I just cringe because anybody in business knows that you still have to have the people to do the job at hand, and we don't have the people there, and it means we're going to have to make some very tough choices, and they weren't made, in my opinion.
There you go. We're going to have to wrap it there.